So I'm sitting here and looking out the window and thinking, oh wow, it's really brown in the desert today. Anyway, happy Sunday. I am the supplier, and this is my Sunday book stack for the week of February 24th, 2013. So I had a huge, almost fall out of my chair laughing type moment on Thursday that I'm going to tell you about. So okay, Thursday, we're sitting in a circle doing our reading. I'm modeling independent reading for my students, or rather, I guess I was modeling, which is important, but I was also using the time to, read my book. Anyway, one of my students got all excited because she finished The One and Only Ivan, and then immediately got disappointed because she finished The One and Only Ivan. It was one of those things I don't think she'd experienced before, at least not in her adolescent reading life, so we all had a really good laugh. And then I told her that because she loved this story so much, she ought to write a letter to my mom about why my mother should read this book. And it should be said that I've been trying to get my mother to read this book for quite some time now, at least since she read Wonder, which I think was at the end of the summer. So anyway, so yesterday I sent my mother the letter, and she said she would write my student back, and then read the book, finally, and then write my student again, which I think is totally cool. Also, I saw the Beautiful Creatures movie yesterday, and I don't often say this, but the movie was better than the book. And that's really all I'm gonna say about Beautiful Creatures. So, this week's stack contains 2 of my Book Gap Challenge books, surprisingly. I actually read a lot of non-YA this month, but that might have been because my friend Dawn is feeding my Fable addiction, which I'm not really complaining about. So to fit my chick lit challenge, I am going to read Just Listen by Sarah Dessen. This will be the first Sarah Dessen I've read, and I think Dawn actually recommended this to me as well. Anyway, from what I can gather, it's about this model and this guy who loves music, who happens to be trying to make her happy. I like music, so let's see how this goes. For my historical fiction book gap challenge this month, I am going to read The Astonishing Life of Octavian Nothing, Traitor to the Nation, Volume 1, The Pox Party. And if that title isn't a mouthful, good lord. It seems like this book has something to do with experiments done during the Revolutionary War period. I guess you could say another part of my challenge is reading books I don't know too much about. I do know this one won the National Book Award, but more than that, I'm just being brave. Good for me. I'm also reading book 4 of Fable, because they're awesome, and because I want to return as many of them as I possibly can to the library on Friday, since that's the next time I'm going to be in the town with a library that has Fable, because it's an hour away and my friend checks them out for me. So, 2 weeks ago I asked you about your reading influences, and 1993 book 3 Tommy Buteau and a book Hobbit, and all seems to be pretty much in consensus. There are certain factors that go into whether or not we'll take recommendations from people. It depends a lot on whether or not we have similar tastes to those other readers. For me personally, I have a group of teachers on Twitter, mostly English and reading teachers, with whom I interact through the hashtags InkChat, Title Talk, Book a Day, Nerdy Book Club, and this year Book Gap Challenge. And that is where I actually get most of my recommendations from. I think part of it is because these are people who have jobs that are similar to mine, and while our students are very different, they still have a good idea about what's going on. These are the people who I get together with in November. 500 bibliophiles in the same room talking about books for a couple of days. Yeah. So this week I'd like to ask a question on behalf of my student who just finished The One and Only Ivan, or maybe inspired by her. What books have you finished, and once you finished, you were disappointed that it was over? I have a lot of those. I'm gonna have to pare down my list to like a couple. Maybe we should make a tag out of it. I don't know. Let me know what you think. So that's it for me today. Leave comments in the comments of wherever you happen to be watching this video. You'll find links to the channels of A Book Hobbit, 1993 Book Freak, and Tommy Buteau in the description. I look forward to hearing from you. So until I see you again, I am the supplier wishing you happy reading. Don't forget to be awesome.